just talking about it there, and I kind of do put Spain as the favourites. Is that an unnecessary pressure on them, or do you think that's a fair comment?
I think it is fair at this point in time to say that they are the favourites, because I think they've earned that right. Going into the tournament, nobody in Spain would have told you that they considered the team as favourites. I think everybody was looking elsewhere. They were looking at England, they were looking at Germany, they were looking at France, but we weren't necessarily looking at ourselves. But things have clicked so beautifully over the last few weeks in a way that has surprised so many of us, and they've really surpassed most of our expectations. We thought quarterfinals, probably at best super lucky, maybe semi-finals, but they've reached the final. They've done it in historic fashion. They've been playing with style. They've been getting the results. Now they're the first team to ever reach a final by winning all 6 games en route in the European Championship. So I would say that they've absolutely earned that right to say that they are the favourites going into this one. And no disrespect to England, even though they did make it to the final, they have been overall really underwhelming, and they have underperformed despite those first 45 minutes against the Netherlands, I would say. So I think in that sense, we know that England are very much capable of doing more in the final.
Semra, English football fans sort of know what to expect from the Spain side on Sunday. Everybody knows the way Spanish sides play and how effective that is. What do people in Spain expect from the England side? How do they expect England to approach the final?
It's a great question. I think most people in Spain feel that the English national team will adapt to Spain, that they will set themselves up more to react rather than to be proactive, rather than trying to shut Spain down and nullify the strengths that they have. It's more going to be, we'll sit and wait and see what they throw at us, because Spain can play in a lot of different ways. Let's not forget, they can either forfeit possession, for example, let the other team have the ball, or they can come at you in a counter-attack, or they can have possession, they can build to the middle, or they can use the pace and the speed out wide on the wings. So I think it makes it almost difficult to really predict what Spain are going to do, because they have so many arsenal or weapons, let's say, in their artillery, that in some respects, it's just going to be about England maybe trying to feel them out. At least that's what we think. I don't know if in England they feel the same way or not, but we feel as though England will take probably more of a reactive approach to things than the other way around.
Just because I want to help England here, Semra, what are their weaknesses then? Where are Spain weak, if they are anywhere on that field?
You know, it's a great question, because I would say thus far, at least at this tournament, it's kind of difficult to actually point out any particular weaknesses. I would have said maybe that makeshift back four against France, but again, that was only out of necessity, because Lennemans as well as Carvajal were out through suspension, but they're both going to be back into the side, and they've been incredibly robust at the back at this tournament, only conceding twice, one of which was an own goal. And then going forward, they've been the most devastating side in the competition, scoring more than anybody else. So it's very difficult to actually pinpoint those weaknesses. What I would say, however, that England would do very well to do is to shut down the likes of Rodri and Fabian Ruiz. You need to make sure that they don't run the show. You need to make sure that they those passing lanes, that they do not get the ball out to Nico or to Lamine Yamal out wide, and you force them to play in a different way. So if I were England, I would probably start there and try to prevent a build-up from those two through the middle, if at all possible, going out wide. Otherwise, I mean, it's going to be very difficult. You'll just have to wait for Spain probably to slip up and make some mistakes, which, of course, they're prone to doing at times.
One of the sort of stars of the final on Sunday could be Jude Bellingham. Just tell us a little bit about what people in Spain, especially Real Madrid supporters, have made of the way he's been playing for England this summer.
I think they've been understandably, let's say, disappointed to some degree, but I think it's because they feel as though he gave so much for Real Madrid this season, and he has such a phenomenal season with Real Madrid that he almost doesn't have enough gas left in the tank, so to speak. They kind of used it all up with Real Madrid in the club season, and so he has kind of underperformed in that sense. That I don't think we've seen him shine the way that he has shown with Real Madrid, and maybe it's just down to the fact that he's a little bit tired, or he was carrying some knocks and niggles along the way at the tail end of the season, so perhaps that has something to do with it as well. Although I do imagine he's probably at full fitness at this point in time. So I think in Spain they feel as though he just hasn't been able to play at his best level, like we know he can play at. And it's probably more down to the fact that he's just maybe in need have a little bit of a rest more than anything else, because I imagine once he gets back to Real Madrid, does have a bit of a rest at the end of the summer, he's going to be fit and firing and leading the team the way that he did last season.
Semra, something that doesn't need a rest, Lamine Yamal, because he's only 16 years of age and quite frankly should still be doing his paper round, but he isn't. He's lighting up the stage at the Euros. I spoke to Juan Mata today, as somebody who knows exactly how to win a Euros, of course, winning it back in 2012. He told me that he's seen nothing like him before. Have you?
To be honest with you, not really. I mean, even Xavi Hernandez has said the same thing. A lot of coaches who have worked with Lamine Yamal at La Masia, at FC Barcelona over the years have also said the same thing. They feel as though he is a talent that can really define football in the coming years throughout his career, as long as, of course, he stays fit, he doesn't pick up any damaging injuries that could be threatening to his overall career going forward. The fact that he also needs to be protected and be around the right kind of people to advise him along the way. So as long as he stays on the right course, there's every reason to believe that he is going to be different to everybody else in football, because he has that, let's say he has that nice mix of ingredients and he has those qualities about him that certainly make him stand out already. He's going to be 17 tomorrow. So at 16 years old, the first full season with the first team of Barcelona, he was breaking records domestically. He was breaking records in the Champions League. He's been breaking records with Spain. So you have to say that he is something very special indeed. But hopefully we don't get too ahead of ourselves and that star doesn't burn out too soon. And it can actually turn into something very profitable over the time for himself and for his clubs and national team, of course, too.
Yeah, I think he's got a £1 billion release clause as well for Barcelona.
Billion?
Yeah, I've read that yesterday. It may be
Pounds or
wrong.
euros?
I don't know, actually. Good. I don't know. Yeah, OK. But anyway, look, in terms of the fact that they do have this lovely mixture of both kind of youth and experience as well. They've got Danny Carvajal.
Bit like us.
Yeah. Pardon, I'm the youth, clearly. You know, that's what I like about this Spain team. They have got this kind of blend. Is that, do you think, what's going to help them get over the line on Sunday?
I do think so. And I think that's what helps them get to this stage to begin with, because this is something that Spain have been tussling with for the last 10 years or so. From 2008 to 2012, as you all know, they won the Euros back-to-back. They won the World Cup. They were at the peak of world football at that time. They're probably one of the best, if not the best, national teams that we've ever seen play. But then they went from the highest highs to the lowest of the lows. And for about a decade, they were really struggling with identity, with moving those more experienced senior players on, bringing in those younger players, trying to find the right balance, trying to make it all work. And it's taken this long for it to finally happen, for things to click, for things to gel. And so I do think that finally, we are seeing a Spain that has a new identity, that can play in a different way, that is more evolved and advanced from how they were 10 years ago. And youth definitely has a massive role to play in all of that. But beyond that, Luis de la Fuente deserves so much credit for how he's been able to make this a proper team and how he's been able to get the best out of so many players, especially those that didn't have a particularly good season domestically. Dani Olmo, for example, Cucurella would be another one, Fabian Ruiz, several players who really underperformed, but clearly we see what they are capable of doing. And they have been going above and beyond for the Spanish national team. So I would say you're absolutely right. It's a beautiful blend, and long may it continue, because, of course, we want all the success that we can get in Spain, and we would love to become the first national team to have 4 European championships to our name.
Yeah, well, brilliant to talk to you as always, Semra. Juan Mata said it was 2-1 to Spain. Is that how you see it, just finally and briefly?
I was going to say 2-0, but I definitely think it will be Spain. Sorry to say.
2-0. Thank you very much for joining us, Semra. Good to see you, as always.